Hi everyone, Jonna with Purple Girl Crafts. Here today with another Halloween card. This is a wiper card that I've attached to the inside of a regular card. So let's get started. So the first thing we're going to need is a piece of paper that is 9.5 by 7 inches. And this will be for the base of the card. Then we're going to need one piece that is 4.5 by 6 3/4. And this is going to be for one of the inside panels of the card. Next, we are going to need 2 pieces of patterned paper, and these are the same size, cut at 4.5 by 6 3/4. This one will be for the front of the card and one will be for the other inside of the card. Next, we're going to need one piece that is 3.5 by 3 1/4, and this is going to sit on the front of the panel of the wiper. Next, we're going to need a piece that is cut at 6 3/4 by 3.5, and this will be the wiper panel device. Then we need one piece of just regular paper that is cut at 4 by 3/4. And then 2 pieces that are cut at 3/4 by 3 1/4. So that's all the paper we need. So on the base of the card, we're going to fold this in half, or you can use your scoreboard. So we're going to pull out our scoreboard because we have to do a couple scoring lines. So on the base of the card, we're going to score this at 4 3/4 down the middle of the card. And then you'll want to fold that in half and then crease out your fold. And then for the wiper part, we're going to need to score at 1 inch, 4 3/4, and 5 3/4. So you should have the 3 score marks on here. We don't need our scoreboard anymore, so we're going to go ahead and get rid of that. So we're going to go ahead and crease these out. So the side that has the 2 score marks, we're going to fold them inward, and then we're going to do a mountain and a valley. So the valley's on the end. And then a mountain on the other end. So when you're done folding, you should have this shape right here. Make sure it's perfectly lined up and really crease those out. So as we assemble this, I'm just going to show you where the pieces are going to fit. So the 2 pattern pieces are going to go on these 2 panels here. The purple paper is in the center. On your card, you're going to have one of the pattern pieces on the top, one on the inside, and it doesn't matter what side, and then the one shiny piece. But I think I'm going to put them the other way, and we'll do the shiny piece on the inside flap and then on the bottom. And that's the card assembly right there. But before we put this all together, we're going to go ahead and we're going to work on the mechanism for the wiper. So to make the wiper mechanism, we're going to pull off the wiper piece, and we're going to line up the small purple piece that we cut, and you just want to line it up to that first fold mark. And then we're going to make a small pencil mark on just where we want it to fold. And I'll show you what I mean in a second. So we're going to place a mark right next to the edge of the paper, right where the fold was. Let me lift this up so you can see. So if I line this up against the top of the card and the panel, I want to put a small pencil mark right before the fold. So you just have that one little mark, and then we're going to do a diagonal score mark So I have my scoreboard out, and I'm just going to line up that little mark I made with the opposite end of the paper and just score it as you see here. So then you just want to fold it back both ways. Just fold it on each side and just kind of crease it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to move my scoreboard. We don't need that. Now I'm going to bring this piece back, and the easiest way to do this is, first of all, you want to line it up so that the triangle is facing the way I'm showing you here, and when it folds down, it'll fold. But as you can see, it's a little bit long. So what I'm going to do is we're going to cut this piece down. It can't go past this last fold mark. So I'm just going to make a mark on it because we're going to end up cutting it even smaller in a little bit, but we're just going to cut this off. So when you lay this down, this does not go past the fold mark. So what you're going to need to do is we're going to lay this out so it's flat again. You're going to line up the triangle so that the piece of paper is facing out from you, and we're only going to glue this little triangle to this top section so that when it folds down, it will fold into itself and then it'll lift up. So what we're going to do is we're going to put glue just on that triangle that we had folded or scored. And then we're just going to glue it to the top of the card facing away from you towards the two folded ends and just the triangle shape. And then when you close it, you want to make sure that it's not over the edge of the card. So see how mine is sticking out just a little bit? So I'm going to bring it down just a little bit because it kind of twisted, because you want to make sure it's not over the edge of the card. And then just take a moment to just make sure that glue is secure. And then you should not be along the edge. If you can see, I'm just a tiny hair away from the edge of the paper so it doesn't hang out. Okay, now to assemble the card, I'm going to glue down the inside two panels. And I'm just using regular glue. And I'm just going to glue these down really quick. Make sure that they're secure. I'm going to glue the patterned piece on. Now we're going to glue on the wiper part of the card. So when you glue this down, you want to make sure that it's not hanging over the edge. It should not if your dimensions are correct. So you can place this anywhere you want it. You can put it at the very bottom. I'm going to line it up with the edge of the pattern paper that I have. So we're just going to glue this down, and we're going to glue this one side that only has the one flap or the one score line. And we're going to lay it down on the bottom of the card. We're going to close the lid on top of it. Making sure it's even, and then we're just going to press that glue out. I'm just going to use my bone folder, just push it down. So that's what you should have so far. Now to glue the other side, we're going to line this up so that the edge is with the edge of the card, the line, so we're edged up right there. Now there's two ways you can glue this. You can just glue it down and hold it as it glues, or you can lay this flat so it's on the front of the card. Let me turn the card. You can just lay it flat and place your glue on this panel here. And then just lay it flat and then close the card on itself. But now when you do this, make sure that you open it up and make sure that the card is not sticking out. You just want to line it up with the edge of the card. And then again, I'm just going to use my bone folder just to crease it. And that's your mechanism for your inside wiper card. Now this piece is going to get glued onto here. So I'm just going to glue this down really quick. And you can lay it flat as you glue it out, or as you press out the glue. And then I'm going to glue those two side panels on that were the patterned paper. And that's what we have so far. So now we're going to do our inside monsters that I made. So these are from a stamp set that I do have. These are not ones I had drawn. But as you can see, the wiper piece is sticking out. So we're just going to take a pencil mark and we're going to lightly mark it. And then we're going to cut away that excess piece because we don't want it to hang out over the top of him. So I'm just going to use my scissors and I'm just going to cut away that. I'm going to cut right underneath the line because it doesn't have to be exact. I just don't want it to show. So then I'm going to glue him down. He's going to sit right about there. And I want to make sure that when he sits that he's not hanging out the side of the card either. So we're just going to put glue on this panel. And then we're just going to glue him right to the wiper card. Now, he does have arms that stick out. If they stick out, you can kind of take your bone folder and roll them and kind of roll him away. That way he'll kind of curve inward. See how his arm is sticking? You can go ahead and do that just by just kind of rolling his arm inward. It will work. Sometimes it's harder with the animals that have arms and legs because they do stick to a wiper. So he works pretty good. So then I have another one that I'm just going to glue him on here really quick. I made them just the exact same way. I just have two little monsters that are the same. Now for the front of the card, I'm going to glue that extra piece that we had cut of the patterned paper for the front of the card. And I'm going to use a piece of paper. I just grabbed a scrap piece. I didn't measure it. And I'm cutting both sides of this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it so the tear mark, and I'm going to tear it towards me so I get that ragged edge. And this is going to be for the front of the card. And if you tear it away from you, you'll get the bottom piece showing. If you pull it away from you, you'll get the top piece showing. So actually I had done 2 scissor marks on the bottom, but I need to do it on the opposite side. So I need to put a scissor mark here just to start it because this paper does not tear easy. And start tearing towards yourself, and then you'll get that ragged edge on the other side of it too. And now I'm going to put this at a diagonal, just a slight diagonal. So I'm going to kind of line it up where I want it. And then I'm going to flip my card over, and I'm going to put 2 pencil marks. I'm going to draw around the edge of the card so I know I want to cut it away. I was going to tear it away, but this paper, like I said, does not tear easy. So it did not give the look that I wanted. So we're just going to cut away those excess pieces. And if you find at the end it's still a little bit too large, you can go ahead and cut it once you place it on the card. So now I'm just going to lay the card out flat, and then we're just going to glue this about the middle. I'm just going to put a lot of glue on here. And then I'm going to glue it down. Then I have some letters that I cut out. I'm just going to put the word eek on the front. You can do any word you want. I was going to put frightening, but the letters were too big, so it was too much. So I'm just going to glue these down. And as you can see, the paper is not smooth anymore. I kind of used my bone folder and I scratched it, so I made it look like it was meant to be, and it was on purpose. So now I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to apply some hearts just to the front of the card that I cut out and on the inside of the card. And I'm just putting these randomly. I just want to give it some extra flair on the card. How fun was that card? Just a fun wiper card. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I'll be posting more videos soon. See you soon. Bye-bye.